This video is about what you get to keep and what you don't get to keep when you file a bankruptcy. Exemptions is the fancy lawyer talk for the property that the Utah legislature has decided that every person needs to keep in order to have a reasonable fresh start in bankruptcy. Here in Utah, the biggest question most people have is, can I keep my house? And the rule is as follows. If the equity in your house, above and beyond the mortgage or other liens, is $20,000 or less, then you can keep your house. If the equity is more than $20,000, then in the course of the Chapter 7 bankruptcy, they will sell the house, pay you your $20,000, and give the rest of the money to your creditors. Of course, there's a little bit of cushion there because they're going to have to pay a realtor, they're going to have to pay closing costs. So if you have exactly $20,000 in equity, you're probably safe in a Chapter 7. Additionally, if you're married and you're both on the title to the house, then each of you is entitled to $20,000. So you would be able to have a $40,000 equity cushion before you'd have to worry about losing that house. The second thing people are worried about, can I keep my car? It's free and clear, I don't have any loans on it, it's worth $5,000, can I keep it? The short answer is, probably not. Here in Utah, each individual is entitled to one vehicle with a value of no more than $2,500. Now, I have successfully stacked exemptions, so if you and your spouse own a vehicle together and it's worth $5,000, I have successfully stacked the exemption so that you still don't lose the vehicle. But each of you is only entitled to $2,500 on your own. So if you have a car that's worth more than that, you may want to look into filing Chapter 13 in order to keep it, or you may just want to sort of reconcile yourself with the fact that they're going to take it, they're going to sell it, and they're going to give you your $2,500, and they're going to keep the rest. Now there's lots of other property that is exempt in the state of Utah. For instance, your appliances like a washer and a dryer, and beds and bedding, and the basics that you need in your household are generally exempt one item each. And then your household furnishings like sofas and chairs and related items are exempt, but with a maximum value, so that if they're worth more than $500, they can be taken and sold. But most people's used household furnishings rarely exceed those exemption amounts. And so ordinary incidental household furnishings are generally exempt in the state of Utah. Next thing people worry about a lot, what about my retirement? 401k and other ERISA qualified retirement accounts never become property of a bankruptcy estate and are also exempt under Utah law. Now, personally directed accounts like individual retirement account, IRA, they do become property of a bankruptcy estate. However, they are still exempt under Utah law in an unlimited amount, but the 12 months of contributions prior to the filing of the bankruptcy are non-exempt. So let's say you have an IRA at a bank that you've been depositing money in, and you've been putting $100 a month in there for 10 years, plus all the interest. The $100 a month that you put in the past 12 months is going to be non-exempt. So you would lose $1,200 of that, but all the rest you would get to keep. Again, if it's a 401k account, it's not self-directed, and it's ERISA qualified, then it never becomes property of a bankruptcy estate, and you keep the whole thing. A couple other things that are exempt. Tools of your trade, up to a value of $3,500. And life insurance under certain limited circumstances, if you're either the policy owner or the beneficiary or both. Life insurance is kind of a tricky one, and it's one where the facts are very important. So like many other areas of bankruptcy law, you're going to want a competent attorney with a lot of experience to look at the policy and to look at who the owner is, when it came into being, and when the proceeds became available in order to determine whether it's exempt. And as with any other area of the law, make sure that you get legal advice before you make any choices about what to do. But the basic exemptions here in Utah are fairly liberal these days. $40,000 for a household with a husband and wife in home equity, or $2,500 per individual on a vehicle. And then the other individual line items that we talked about earlier. And if you have any questions about that, just call my office and set a time and we'll talk it over.